Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. I know, I look a little crazy. That's only because we're gonna play with the newest Ladybug Glow palettes, and it is the Krampus Eve palette and the Krampus Continued palette. Love, love, love the theming behind this. Let me show you the Krampus Eve palette. It's definitely predominantly a matte heavy palette. So it has 8 mattes and 1 rainbow multi-chrome shimmer. I'm not going to swatch all of it. I'll show you the swatches on the screen for you guys. But let me show you this rainbow shade. I mean, what? Look at that. I know Ensley Rain did like a similar rainbow highlighter, but I've never seen like a rainbow eyeshadow. I feel this shade would go so well with the other mattes in the palette. Wait till you find my final thoughts for this palette. And the second one is the Krampus Continued palette, which is like an equal. So this has 5 shimmers and 4 mattes. It has some beautiful shimmers, like beautiful, beautiful shimmers. The Krampus Continued palette has 4 mattes, 3 reflective multichromes, 1 holochrome, 1 duochrome. It is such a fun color story. Let me give you a spoiler alert. This shade, definitely my favorite in both of these palettes. Like, love this one. Absolutely love this one. These palettes will launch on November 10th. And let me tell you the prices. The Krampus Eve palette will retail for $28 USD after using my code SMITHYSONY. And the Krampus Eve palette, this one, will retail for $33 after using my code SMITHYSONY. It is also available as a bundle for $63, and again, you can use my code on top of it. And if you buy both of these palettes, you are eligible for free US shipping. So I feel like I've covered everything detail-wise. The Krampus Eve palette swatched really, really well with those 8 mattes. It's such a beautiful mid-tone to deep color story, mainly mid-tone I would say, and that reflective multichromy rainbow shade in the middle definitely can be tapped on top of any of the mattes to make it more special. And let's move on to the Krampus Continued palette. Shades are so unique to my collection, I would say. They definitely go from like a light to mid-tone to deeper shades, even in the matte formula as well as in the shimmer formula. I feel like this is definitely much more balanced as a palette in a whole. I'm going to create 2 eye looks with both of these palettes. So without further ado, let's begin. First, we're going to dive into the Krampus Eve palette. This is predominantly a matte heavy palette with that multichromy rainbow shade in the middle. So let's begin. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm feeling a little bit more on the dusty blue side. And obviously my eyes are going towards that maroon and that mauve shade. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we're going to start off with this shade, this deeper blue shade. And I'm going to take that on the outer corner of the eye. I'm planning to do 2 looks each with each of these palettes. So we'll see how that goes. And I want to use as many shades as I can for you guys too. At this moment, I'm just patting the shades, not blending it. Once we pat it, then I'll slowly start blending the edges. It's definitely not like pigment in your face. It's more like buildable, I feel like. Because when I'm patting it, I can see the pigment. When I'm blending it, those pigments are blending away too. Like that. Okay, I feel confident in that much. Okay, let's take the green. I know, who am I? Let's take this green. I'm gonna just wipe my brush and then go into that green shade. I'm gonna start applying that in the center of my eyelid and melting it with that blue. At this moment, it's just tapping motions that we are doing. I have my Sigma switch right next to me. That's why I'm going back and forth with the same brush, but with different shades. There you go. That's exactly the blend that I'm looking for right now. So once we have that blue and that green, I feel like this needs to go there in the inner third. So let's do that. that baby blue shade. Maybe I should have done the other way around. Should have done this blue and then this blue and then green. Oh well, we live. These are very different tones of shades. Like, it's not like a regular shades that you see every time. Like, the tones of blue, the tones of greens are definitely a little more different. These shades are definitely more on the powderier side. There you go. I'm gonna take my clean blending brush and I'm just gonna go over the edges just for that easy blend. Now for the lower lash line, let's take this green, more of a tealy green, I would say. Okay, right in the outer corners. And then I'm gonna take this, maybe this blue again, the lighter blue shade, and just melt it down with that teal green. Yeah, those two shades really melt well together. I'm gonna take my refer number 13 with no product. I'm just gonna blend it out. Just blowing out my lower lash line. Quite a bit, I would say. I feel the depth that I'm looking for in that blue is missing. I'm gonna take this shade, the, I don't know, the sagey greeny blue shade, and I'm just gonna tap it right on top just to see if we can get that depth or not. Does definitely fall out. Do your eyes first. I'm gonna take my NYX glitter glue because I feel like we definitely need help for the shimmer to stick in. I'm gonna take a very tiny bit just because I don't wanna disrupt all the mattes that we have placed. Basically would be focusing on the inner third of the crease and the lid. I don't wanna mix the shimmer. I'll try to just pick it out the way it is in the pan, like just swiping the finger. Can you see that? It's so pretty. Okay, let's see if we can get it like that. Oh, this is so pretty. It's so vibrant. Yeah, where I applied that NYX glitter glue, it stuck so well. And I can see the rainbow, okay, on my eyes. And I'm just gonna scatter it on the other side. I would say you can definitely achieve that rainbow effect because I can definitely see like that green, yellow, and pink. I would have to go back with my mattes just because I feel like I'm losing those mattes. Let's take that green shade that we applied in the middle, and I'm just gonna tap that right on the edge just so that we don't lose that. There you go. Let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. That's my first eye look. I love how ethereal, how beautiful, how airy this eye turned out to be, even though it's like outside my comfort zone with the greens and the blues. We'll see how the other eye performs. So let's begin. Going to use the same palette again and play with more shades. I'm going to take this shade, this mauve shade, and I'm going to take that on my crease. This can be definitely like a one and done look for me. Cool. Now, let's take this maroon shade. I'm going to pat that on the center of my eyelid just to get like more of a smoky eye. Sticking to the, close to the lash line and patting it and then melting it with that mauve shade. Okay, once we have that maroon shade, I'm going to go back into that mauve shade and just blend the edges just so that seamlessly it just melts into each other, just like that. It's not too much. And then I'm going to go back into that maroon shade and just melt it down on my lower lash line. It's like a very easy burgundy smoky eye. I'm gonna take that orangey and the pink together on a very small brush, and I'm gonna apply that on the inner corner, just because I want like a pinky inner corner like that. I'm gonna take the same shades underneath my brow bone, just there, right there. I'm gonna take this blue shade and I'm gonna take that on the outer corners of the eye just to deepen it out a little bit. Again, just tapping it, nothing much. Taking the same thing on the inner corner just to mimic like a halo eye, but without doing too much of work. Okay, once we have that, just gonna take the same brush with that mauve shade, melting it, and then I'm gonna finish this eye with some liner and mascara, and I'll get right back. And that's my second eye look. Super easy, like super smoky eye with like the easiest number of steps. Like hardly did anything with that mauve and that maroon. And even if you do not want to use that deeper gray blue in the inner and the outer corners, you still can get a beautiful smoky eye. And because the shade, the rainbow shade, you can definitely dip into different pans and get a different effect. I really love this look. Again, this is outside my comfort zone, but this is again more of that siren eye, and this is more like rounded and smoky eye. I used all the shades from this palette. I would definitely say I feel like the mattes feel a little different as compared to what I know Ladybug Glow has the formula for. I don't know if it is my palette or not, but the shimmer is exactly the same formula that I know, and that effect of that rainbow shimmer is really well. I feel like this eye performed a little bit more better with that mauve and the burgundy shades. I didn't use this shade actually, this army green shade, but I felt like these two shades, especially this and this, it was just blending out to nothing. I had to pat it down. But otherwise, the formula that I know from Ladybug Glow, I feel like it's buildable, it's blendable, and it doesn't like get the pigment out. I feel those two shades definitely feels a little different for me. But this I really love. Like this eye, stunning. Let's move on to the other palette, which is Krampus Continued, and see how that rolls. This, I feel, at least color wise, I really love. This shade is so pretty, such a beautiful multichrome, you guys. It feels like pink, gray, brown. It's a really pretty shade. And even this, I feel like whenever it's layered onto some other shade, it's gonna transform into some other look. I feel like two-tone eye look is the best way to take this palette, but we'll see what we can do. I want to start with the shade. I want to do all simple looks with this. Seriously, I feel like this goes so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to start with this brown, okay? I really want to start with that brown because I want to use that multichrome shade. That's like my favorite thing in this palette. Okay, I'm going to start off with that in the outer corner. And these mattes, oh my god, when I swatched it, it was so beautiful and soft. So I'm going to take that in the outer corners and then place it in the crease. And yes, it can be applied as an outer corner shade and in the crease too. I'm just going to take that again and pat it down in the outer corners just for the added depth. Just turning the brush around and just blending the edges just like that. Let's just do what my heart says, okay? Don't blame me. I really want like simple but elegant look. I'm gonna take my NYX glitter glow and I'm gonna just take that right in the blank space of the eye. And now I'm gonna take that multichrome shade, this one. Wait till you see. I was mind blown when I saw this. Like, look at that. It's definitely a very unique shade in my collection. I do not have any shade that depicts this. Like, what? Oh my God, that's stunning. Like nobody can deny that. That is just beautiful. I can see myself just taking these two shades and running out of the door to office unapologetically. So beautiful, so beautiful. I'm going to take more of a stubbier brush now, and I'm going to dip into that brown again and just deepening out the outer corners. Just like that. I'm going to take the same brush with no additional product, just tapping the edges, just like that. Just so that the blend is like seamless. I'm gonna take the same shade, or should we take something else? Oh my God. Guys, you guys, stop. Okay. I would easily do that brown in the lower lash line and call it a day, okay? Just because of you guys, I'm doing it. I'm gonna take this periwinkle shade and I'm just gonna take that on the lower lash line, mainly in the inner, inner third of the lower lash line, I would say. Halfway along like that, and then take that brown and just join the edge, just so that we have that continuity going on, just like that. Okay, now for the inner corners, because we have that purple, I am going to take this shade. Should I? Okay, let's do that. Okay, and this is another multichrome shade. That blue shifts to a pink very, very nicely. Like, look at that. It looks like green now. I'm gonna just melt it down with that lower lash line shade, just like that. How simple was that? I'm gonna finish off this eye with some liner and mascara, and I'll get right back. And that's my third eye look. I really, really love this eye look that I created. Like, this is my favorite eye look so far. I can definitely say that. In the waterline, I use this blue. This is from LA Girl. This is their Shockwave eyeliner in the shade Ocean. Let's move on to the second eye look. Okay, now what are we gonna do? Okay, let's begin. Okay, I'm gonna take this shade, this deeper grungy green shade. And I'm gonna first take that on the outer corners. I'm also taking that in the inner corners for the halo eye. How beautiful that shade is. That shade is stunning. And I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush and I'm gonna go with this sagey green shade. And that would be our crease shade. Okay, I'm going to take a smaller blending brush and go into that deeper shade and apply that on my lower lash line too. And then take that sagey green shade and apply that in the inner third of the lower lash line, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take my NYX glitter glue right in the center of my eye, just because there's another shade in the palette that I really am so curious about. This, I don't know if that can top that or not, but still super curious. So I'm going to just place that NYX glitter glue right in the center. And then I'm going to take this shade, this one. Oh my God, can you see that multichrome? Stop. I'm going to take that. So pretty. I'm going to take that right in the center. And then just slowly blend it with my fingers. Oh, that's such a beautiful shade. Love it. Just like that. I'm going to take that deeper shade once again. And I'm just going to blend the edges by just tapping off on top of that. Just on the edges. Just so that we have that seamless blend going in. Oh, I love that. Love that. Okay. For the inner corners, let's take this center shade, this green shade. Feels like a glowy green. I'm gonna take that right. Oh my God, look at the shine that this gives. Oh, I'm definitely putting that right in the center. just to tie in everything together, because that's like gorgeous, that shade. Oh my God. Oh, but that's a beautiful shade. Okay, let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara. And that's my fourth eye look. I absolutely loved this Krampus Continued palette. The shades that I used blended very, very beautifully. This shade is definitely very, very special to me. Like the way this blended on the eyes as well as the way it shifts, it's so stunning. I definitely do not have any shade that looks like that with me, and I love it. I love it for an everyday look. So pretty. Let me wrap up my thoughts. So when I see both of these palettes, I would start with this Krampus Eve palette. Out of the two palettes, if you ask me which one to choose, I personally would have chosen this one, the Krampus Continued one. There's nothing wrong with the Krampus Eve palette, but if you are looking for like high pigmented eyeshadows, this palette is not, this is not the one for you. But if you want shadows that can be easily blended, I feel like this palette would be really, really beautiful. If you like go with one or two shades, it is beautiful. I feel like this cannot be like layered one on top of each other. But saying that, this rainbow shade, stunning, absolutely stunning. I definitely have to play with this a little bit more because this is my first impression. This cannot be like my in-depth review or thought about the palette, but first impression wise, I'm not like blown away by this palette. But the shimmer shade is stunning, I would say. I loved the mauve shade and the burgundy look the most out of this palette. I again would reiterate, I feel like these two shades were blending away. So that's the only reason why this falls a little low. Krampus Continued, all the shades that I tried were beautiful. And how many shades did I try? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, the only shade that I did not try is this. And I'm pretty sure like for a smoky eye, I feel like it'll be lovely, but this is more like of a deeper base, like a black base, and I don't think that there is a matte that corresponds for this shade for like a smoky eye. So that's the only critique that I would say, but the rest of the shades blended really, really well. I love this eye look, but that's all for today, guys. If you did like this video, do let me know in the comment section below. Are you interested in any of these palettes or not? Are you going to shop your stash? Are you going to buy this palette or not? Let me tell you when it launches again. These palettes will launch on November the 10th on their Etsy website, and you can use my code SMITHYSONY for 10% off. But that's all for today, guys. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post things. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.